Hey guys, it's BlockchainBrad, and today we're talking about IHT, which is a very exciting blockchain project that is currently already on exchanges. But today we're going to unpack exactly what it is, what it stands for, and why it is potentially such a good blockchain. To do that, we have a very important person, the chairman and founder of this project, and that is none other than Ricky Ng. Ricky, thank you very much for being on the channel today.
Hi, Brad. Hi, everybody. So nice to meet all of you. So I'm very happy to be here to answer all of your questions and to talk to Brad and to answer, to express what actually we are doing. Yeah.
Awesome. That's the plan, mate. So we're going to get stuck into unpacking it thoroughly bit by bit with questions. But firstly, it's important, I suppose, to explain the what in terms of what the website explains IHT is. And that is essentially a real estate protocol, a global real estate cloud platform as well. And we're going to understand how that fits into the context of real estate currently. So Ricky, essentially, in a nutshell, what is IHT for the person who perhaps doesn't know much about it? How could you explain it simplistically?
Okay, so to answer it in a very layman terms, it's just like the real estate crowdfunding, but we mark everything on the blockchain. So blockchain enables us to split the assets, to record the assets ownership and also the return, and to transfer to each other. So it enables us to have the liquidity of the assets, to be transparent, and also we can share assets to each other regarding the assets projects. Yeah, for example, we are now working with some hotels project, so we can get early stage engagement and before the hotel really went into operation, so that we can have a early bird offer of the membership, of the ownership, so that we have a better return in the future. So that's a very simple user case that we are building on. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So let's unpack that a little bit further. So once again, you're representing a global real estate cloud platform. So real estate is the key feature of what you represent. Let's talk about that in the context of some of the challenges and problems that you foresaw in the industries that existed, and why there was a gap and that you can address with your services and your products.
Okay, cool. So first of all, I think real estate industry is very traditional. So many like the fundraising, the operation, and also the marketing is very, we call so-called old school. So that with the blockchain repackaging with the crypto world, so we can see before we develop a hotel, actually we also already have the community. So the community will enjoy will participate into the investment of the early stage development of the hotel or the resort, and they will get into the some membership program, so that it's more easy for them to do marketing in the future. So that they will also involved in the co-management of the project. Yeah, so that it's just like. You can involve in a hotel's development. You can own a Hilton, you're part of the Hilton. You can own part of the maybe a certain hotel in Singapore, in Japan, or in anywhere around the world. So personally, I don't have any property because I miss every single chance of getting into the property market. But through this investment, I can re-engage into the property market by sharing the assets.
I see. So that's an important point. Obviously, you're from an Asian background, and the reason I broach that is because the costs of living, particularly with regard to real estate, is very expensive in the Asian belt.
Very expensive.
So this provides a means for people to take part in the real estate game.
Yeah, exactly. Because personally, I'm from Hong Kong. Yeah, so I grew up in Hong Kong and I worked in Hong Kong before. And after I go into China to have a startup for several years, I found that, oh my God, I can't afford for getting a property, a apartment anymore. Because Hong Kong's property is very expensive. It's the most expensive in the world.
Right.
So I'm thinking about if we have anything to do with the sharing assets idea, we can share the assets to each other, so we can still have the population, the property valuation gain, but we don't need to have really engage for a whole apartment.
Okay.
So that's where the concept comes from. And we look at Airbnb, we look at WeWork. They are more, we call it on the demand side.
Right.
For example, they are engaging the travel demand, the working space demand whatsoever. But regarding the sharing assets, which we call the supply side, we don't see any sophisticated product before. especially in the blockchain area, so that we think that we would like to have such an idea to implement into the real life. Yeah.
Right. So essentially, you're doing two things. You're bringing it into the blockchain domain, which is certainly not the Airbnb does not do, and also you're doing it in such a way that's long-term focused and not short-term for your short-term stays. So let's talk about now that in the context of your .com, your ihouse.com. That essentially is the blockchain cloud platform that we're speaking of. So let's discuss that. What is it, and what is it for?
Okay. So ihouse.com is actually a real estate blockchain cloud platform. What we do is it's just like a property VC. So, for example, we have approached a certain of asset owner across Asia. For example, in Japan, in Singapore, in Southeast Asia, and also in China. So that we act as the VC part of the VC's job to review the project. They first of all need to have a land, of course, just like the Japan's project. The landlord already have got the land already, but they don't have enough funding to develop the resort or the hotel. So that after we see the project details, we think that that's a great idea, and the cash flow projection is very good. They have a business model, they have the sales and marketing plan, they have the operation plan, so that we help them to do crowdfunding through the traditional and also the crypto world. So we have two ways. One is the traditional legal structure, just like those like property VC or PE do. Another way one is like those we call ATO, so that people can invest through token.
Yes, we're going to talk about that. So I just want to interrupt so we can do that in steps. But just focusing on the iHouse itself, if we can clarify that, that's the cloud platform. So if you could paint a picture for us in terms of what is housed inside that. You talked about the ATO, which we'll talk about later. It's a very unique token structure. But really, what does it look like if I was looking at this platform? Would I see investors using this as developers who are utilizing this to try and capitalize?
Okay, the flow is like, for example, the asset owner come to ihouse.com and then left a message or find our BD business director and say, I would like to raise a ATO, we so-called ATO project. So that after their submission, and then we will review their white paper, we will review their business plan, we will review everything. So just like we see. And then we will get into the next step if we get their assets published to the platform. So that we will announce to the public, so everyone can join this project development. Okay, so people can start the crowdfunding and the ATO process by investing money here. So that basically is just like we link up the asset owner and also the money source all together, and we mark everything on the blockchain.
Okay, so Ricky, in a sense, you've got those two aspects inside iHouse, but no doubt the main focus of the supply is coming from those asset owners, as you said. Are they predominantly developers at the moment in your design, or can they be anyone? Can they be just an asset owner, or do they need to have a considerable amount of capital?
Okay, very good question. Actually, right now we only start with B2B right now.
Okay.
So we work with the business, the asset owner, and also the financial institutions. That is a B2B play. But in the long run, we would like to open to the public to let more end users to join. For example, if the process is getting very smooth, so that we will probably maybe say, every single person can upload the assets themselves, and then we provide all the service document and all the process flow, and then they can build their own community and then raise their ATO. So, but that's at least next year, because this year we would like to start more educational and also have like certain projects on the platform running, and to make sure every project is running good, and then before we roll out the end user business model.
I see. So essentially, the lay homeowner, let's say, they're not going to be able to use this just yet as an asset owner, but that's the plan later on.
Later on, because C2C is property, the operation is more complicated, because you need to let the users to judge themselves. So I think that is an investment product, so that I think we need more certain control on that because we are just like like I said, we are like a property VC. So we will need to review every single project that comes into our platform. We need to make sure the project's quality.
Okay.
And after people start making money, so we think that we can release a little bit more to the end users, maybe to the large asset owner, and to those like having more, for example, the total worth of the assets maybe like up to 10 million US, they get, for example, 30 to 50% of the assets onto the platform to do the ATO. Okay. So we need to have a certain kind of control, but not just let the asset owner put everything on a blockchain platform and waste money and then they just run away. So that's not our plan. So we like to run it with a very legitimate way and also under control, and to see how can we help the asset owner and also the investors to maximize their return.
I see. So you have a very structured plan in your roadmap. But let's talk about the costs involved for the current asset owner, and that obviously is your business, focus. So what would it cost someone utilizing this service to actualize their asset onto the platform itself?
Okay, so actually we don't charge much cost. We so-called the cost in the platform. Okay. But what the asset owner need to share is the profit margin of their profits to the end users, financial institution. Because once they got on our platform, ihouse.com, they need to buy IHT to be the uploading fee, and also they need to do airdrop to their retail investors. For example, if a person they would like to raise like 30 million US, we will suggest them to buy 10% of the IHT to distribute to the end users. So that people can get the investors can get both the property valuation upside and also the IHT as the airdrop altogether. So that's a more crypto play. Compared to the traditional fund. Because traditional fund, they would just have the valuation gain and also the maybe the so-called the interest and also the profit sharing. Okay, so they now own besides the valuation gain, and also they have the airdrop, so that they have something liquid immediately.
I see. So there's a yield for that asset owner. But obviously, as you said, to clarify, it's 1% of the cost of the total asset when they append that onto the system. And that is done via your utility token. It's not done via fiat at that point. So could I ask you directly, what is the benefit fundamentally? If I was an enterprise, or if I was someone wanting to invest in you with significant assets, why should I do it? What's the reason I would want to do that in terms of value?
Okay, let me give you a very simple example. Okay, so for the asset owner, they may have a land, for example, like cost the market valuation, for example, like 10 million US. Okay, so they would like to have a resort built on that particular land, and the building cost is very expensive. Actually, it's like up to like 10 to 20 million US. Right. Okay, so right now, when you go to the financial institution to say to have the loan, to apply for the loan for this land, okay, to build a resort or hotel, so they will only approve like 50% of the money to you at a very high interest rate. Sure. Okay, so that's a quite normal fundraising environment across Asia. So US may be better because the reputation and also the financial system is more mature. Right. But in Asia markets like Australia, like Japan, like Southeast Asia, most of them can only have like 50% of the money. That's right. So actually, that's not enough for them to have the whole construction plan. Right. So that at this moment they need to have some property VC or the investors comes in to invest all together. But besides those the big giants of the property market in the industry, they don't have enough money to invest. So the outcome is the asset owner having good assets, they don't have the money to develop their project. I see. And so at this point, we would like to help. First of all, we like to have the asset owner to resolve this problem. And the other way, we would like to let the retail investors comes in to co-develop the project. Because I have talked to many friends. They say, oh, if you have such kind of product, I'll definitely buy it, because they don't trust in anymore the property markets. They will keep raising again for 5 or 10 years. They think that they will fluctuate from now on because it's already very high. Okay, and the US will start raising the interest rate. Yeah, so that's the fundamental a good timing for us to roll this product, because people start to think about, oh, will property still gain the variation every year just like before, like the 10 years before, while every people raise like a lot of money. So while at this stage, I think it's very good for us to roll out this product, because people start to think about, do I have any alternative to invest in the property market?
Right. Yeah. Let's talk about that in your model. And the reason why is it's a perfect segue into explaining the platform as a conduit or a connective between the asset owner or the asset itself and the user and the financial institution, like i.e. bank or credit union, as well, just some examples of some sources of income. So you've mentioned before that typically in normal markets, the layperson like you or I could not necessarily go and utilize this service to go and purchase a property outright, and now we can do it in bite-sized chunks. Likewise, the business can also offer in bite-sized chunks to the user. So what I wanted to ask is, can you explain that three-step process? There's 3 layers involved as well, but let's first start with the user, the financial institution, the IHT platform, and the asset. How does that system work?
Okay, so first of all, we have the users that would like to invest in the property markets, but they don't have enough money to buy the whole building or involved in the whole project, so that they, like for example, take $10,000 US to a financial institution or a crowdfunding platform we work with, so that they put their money into the FI, or we call the crowdfunding platform. Okay, after this step, we can the financial institution and the crowdfunding platform can work with IHT. Can work with iHouse.com. Sorry. So to purchase certain portion of the project. Right. Okay, just like the hotel I talked about in Japan. Sure. Okay, so this 10,000 US will be invested by the financial institution to the asset owner through iHouse.com. So basically, we won't touch the money. So the money will directly go to the asset owner, but we will have a escrow account for the money flow, so that we will know that every single the budget will goes to the asset owner, and we will control the as the operator to control the financial and the operation status of the asset owner and their operating team. Right. So that's basically all the flow of iHouse.com. And IHT is here. What's the usage is? I've talked about it before, which the asset owner need to pay certain percentage to upload their assets to the platform, and then to buy iHouse token to distribute to the end users or the financial institution as airdrop. Yeah, so that's this is the way they do. So that we are serving as the tech and marketing platform here.
I see. So there's a requirement for the user or the asset owner to convert into the IHT at some point through this process. Can we talk about now your smart contracts? Because you have a unique smart contract specifically geared inside your platform called an ATO. Can you tell us about that ATO and why that's so revolutionary?
I think ATO is the concept. We can't say it's revolutionary, but I don't know why before I don't see any people doing. So we are just reference to the ICO concept. So people get the crowdfunding, and then they issue the token to the investors. Okay, so that's the logic of ICO. So initial coin offering. Actually, ATO we call the assets tokenized offering. So that's when it's actually a higher requirement of the projects to get on ATO. So at least they have an assets. Yeah. Otherwise, we don't let those like just pure idea to get on our platform, because it involves too much of the to review their white paper, and it also a certain it's high risk actually. Yes. I think it's quite high risk.
And certainly
even we do. in the ICO. Yeah.
Sure, and given that it's an an asset offering, essentially there's a lot more legal implications that we'll talk about later to ensure that is properly done and done in a way that safeguards each person's investment when they whether it be from the asset or from the user's position. And now, if we could talk about the three. Excuse me, if we could talk about the three layers. Now, in that sense, you have 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. You have your PaaS service. So these are service layers. You have your protocol, then your blockchain, and then your financial exchange. Can you tell us about those three key layers in the context of your roadmap?
Okay, so actually, it's quite easy to explain. So 1.0 is like we help the asset owner to do the ATO directly for our platform. Okay, so that we locate the asset owner and then we help them to do fundraise every month and every week. Yeah, so that we also manage the assets all together. So that's we call 1.0 version because it's quite easy to kickstart. And 2.0 is like we are getting onto a more module and also platform base. So we will just like what we said, it's like blockchain as a service. So we provide a blockchain platform to the asset owner to let them to manage to raise the ATO themselves. Yeah, so that we don't get involved too much assets there. So we will just being the gatekeeper to help them to make sure the case is legit and then it's legally correct, and also you have enough fundraising and also marketing channels to close your fundraising. Okay,
I see.
So that's the second,
just to jump in there with the BaaS, this blockchain as a service. What that's going to do is give autonomy like never before to those who want to, engage in the real estate market, because now you can't engage in that way.
Exactly. We will just work with different property developers so that we let them to have their own platform. We just use that as the back end, and they can upload the assets themselves to raise money here there, so that they also find investors themselves, of course. Yeah.
So Ricky, that's not happening yet, though, is it? That's part of the
that's part of the roadmap. Roadmap.
Okay. So let's talk about now your financial exchanges in the long-term plan in 3.0.
Okay. So financial exchange is just like a public chain with the property exchange, just like those like crypto exchange. So every single property will have a token to represent themselves and then to trade on the financial exchange. But definitely this need more legal and also technical requirement, because it maybe we need to consult all the legal advice on this. Yeah, after seeing the full document of the security and also the utility exchange. So there's two ways, because right now we work with both structure. One is the the traditional structure. One is the token structure. So we actually can have both financial exchange there. So we will see how can we roll this easily without too much, regulation and also the legal compliance issues.
I see.
So we'll have the solution in the next couple of months, and then let the people have more liquidity on buying the ATO product. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a secondary market for the ATO product.
Okay, and obviously the challenge is going to also be one of compliance for different regulations and jurisdictions in Asia and as you build out globally. So no doubt you're consulting with a lot of different parties to do that.
Yeah, but the good news is we actually have many lawyers to work with us all together. So I think in Hong Kong, in China, in US, in Japan, we all have different lawyers, so that it's quite easy to get all the legal advice there and to work. With a different legal team. Yeah.
Okay, well that's good to know, considering you're starting in Hong Kong. Now, if we could go back to your platform for a moment, I want to talk about two things that are unique in the way that you've designed your platform. You allow for time stamping to be important, but more importantly, splitting. Now, can we talk about how you use splitting in your token? In your ATO to be a provision that from a technological sense provides for the bite-sized components to be distributed, rather than have the whole cost of a real estate asset. The splitting and timestamp.
Yeah, actually splitting the assets is it's not as difficult as everybody think.
Okay.
Because just like stocks, okay, you can buy stocks with just like you can buy one stock. One stock of Amazon, and you can buy 1,000 stock of Amazon because there's a unit price, right? The property, the problem is that they don't have a unit price by the market because that's not liquid yet.
Right.
So it's like a closed loop deal. Yeah, from people to people or from institution to institution. So the problem we are doing is like the product we are doing is like we try to enable every asset will have a variation there to be tradable. Yeah, so that you can trade with the token or with the unit price that we preserve.
I see.
Yeah, so
and essentially you're making it divisible, rather than having a whole asset value as we see. For example, if you scroll through and you look at the cost of a house, cost of a hotel, it's
exactly.
a complete price, but you're making it divisible to, again, be able to access a chunk of it.
Yeah, so it's just like, for example, just like eBay. Okay, so before you don't have the market value for a secondary market for the laptop, right? So you now have the market value because you have the marketplace, and then you can to match both side, buy side and sell side, and then you have the value there. So that's exactly what we are doing. So because personally, I'm from Yahoo before, so we know about marketplace very well. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about now consumer safeguards. You call them users, the people who are investing. So what safeguards are you putting in for two people? Firstly, for the institution, what, in terms of underwriting, what mechanisms are available to them as a part of the process? And also, what are you doing to safeguard the ATO itself with regard to the asset provider?
Yeah. Okay, so because we call ourselves property VC, so you can see we have all the like the legal terms and also the right to protect the investment from the investors. Yeah, for example, we protect the investors' right through we will escrow the asset owners' right on the assets to a third party legal. Yes. Yeah, so that's the first one. Secondly, we will also own certain percent of the assets by iHouse.com. Yeah, so that we will have the right to declare. I mean to do the due diligence and also the like, for example, the refinancing or to sell at a cheap price whatsoever. Some in abnormal case, yeah, we will try to avoid that. Okay, so we have the full control of the assets. Okay, right. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about that though in the context of these two things: proof of authenticity and proof of legitimacy. They are two mechanisms you've built into your design to ensure that there are processes to make sure that the asset provider is legitimate and not a scam. So can you explain why that's so important?
Yeah, definitely it will be very important because we need to do due diligence by different parties. For example, the legal, the valuation team, property valuation firm, and also the due diligence firm. Yeah, so we have the full process of just like the traditional property guys, what they do. Yeah, but at the same time, we open for some new channels for the crypto community to join this investment.
Okay.
Because actually, from understanding, crypto community they are very green in investment. Right. Yeah, many of them are maybe the first time or maybe they don't buy too much like property or stocks. They just invest in crypto. So we enable them to get into a traditional investment channel plus the crypto investment return.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the perspective of the bank or the financial institution. Obviously, they want to ensure that they can underwrite to secure their own investment and ensure it, more importantly. So is that going to be possible through this process?
Yeah, of course. I think because we work with different financial institutions, some of them are maybe fund, some of them may be FA, some of them may be mutual trusts. Yeah, so unit trust. Okay, so they are very open to such kind of product as long as we follow their rules and regulations. Yeah, so I think this product is not just like those monster that goes out suddenly, but actually they work for a long time on such kind of traditional financial products. Just they don't have the way to better market, do the marketing, and also to build a community to share the ownership and also distribute the tokens value through airdrop.
Okay.
So that we just add some more element in terms of the crypto community to the traditional property fundraising channels. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for explaining that flow from the user to the asset owner. Now, if we could talk about subscription in terms of cost, and I really want to clarify this because your design, as we've discussed privately before, is designed more like a timeshare structure. So no doubt when you're purchasing as a consumer, you're purchasing the rights to the property, and you're doing that via subscription. So can you explain that really carefully and succinctly for us?
Yeah, of course. I call this a deal structure of the property fundraising. So first structure is like we deal with the property fund, property VC, and also the accredited investors.
Right.
So what their investment is like investing in a share of the company owning the assets. So this is the first structure. We call that traditional structure. Okay. The second structure is like the crypto structure, or say the blockchain structure. So they are buying because if they pay through BTC or ETH or USDT or even IHT, so they can't tie with any shares there. Otherwise, it comes into a security product.
Right.
Okay. So
which is something you're not. Let's clarify that right now. You're not a security. You're a utility.
Yeah, we are the utility. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So all of our structure is set up as a utility.
Yes.
Yeah. So IHT is a utility token, and iHouse.com is also a fundraising with a legitimate. For example, the security product will follow the securities rules, securities laws, and the utility will follow the utilities product setup. Okay.
I see.
So when people pay through Bitcoin or ETH, what they are buying is not the share of the assets. What they buy is the membership of the asset of this assets or this project. Okay. So
you're doing that to clarify, just for everybody. You're doing that to make sure that you can get around any of the legal implications, so that you can always be represented as a utility platform that's providing for a utility service.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so because we have deal structure, so one structure is about we call it security. So because actually that's what we have already consulted legal advice for like over a few months. Okay. Yeah, so we need to apply for license 149 in Hong Kong, for example. They are selling funds. Okay, so that's basically the very fundamental requirement of the fund operation in Hong Kong or in other regions. Okay, so that's the first structure. The second structure is like we can sell through the crypto community for the ATO project. Then they will be buying a membership, and which is a timeshare membership. So they because actually they will have a huge discount there, so that after they have already built, so the market value will goes up to normal market price, so that they have the valuation upside through the memberships valuation up gain. So so that's the two sales structure on this case. Yeah, so we will put on the website. So if you would like to invest by US dollar, so fall into the first structure. So if you would like to invest by BTC or ETH, so fall into the second structure.
I see. So essentially what they're buying is a time-based investment. You know, it's calculated according to a time, and that will expire in a long term.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Much the same as you've mentioned with timeshare models. Okay, well, if we could talk now about your function. One of the things that's very interesting and quite new, I understand, is that not only is there the process of injecting fiat via the financial institution, but you can also obfuscate that, or you can eliminate that requirement and go straight through from crypto and inject that into the system. So can you tell us what those two options are? You can use crypto, and you can also use fiat.
You mean the investor or
for the user? For the user.
The user. Yeah, they can choose both. Yeah, because some of them may have lots of money. They fall into the accredited investors regulations, so that they can invest by fiat. Okay. Yeah, by US dollar. So some of them may just, for example, they just have 10 ETH. They don't fall into any accredited investors regulation rules. Okay. Yeah, so they are not qualified actually, but they can buy the membership program by crypto. Okay. Yeah, so that Yeah, so that they can still involve in the membership program. Yeah, so that they can still involve in the future membership valuation gain there. Yeah.
So crypto really gives them the fundamental base level access, and if they want to be an accredited investor, that's when the fiat really comes into play. If we could talk now about your wallet. Let's talk about that in terms of where you're at, and what facilities are available for the user. Is that right?
Yeah, of course we'll have the wallet. Yeah, so we'll put on the into our website, and also we'll try to make it as user friendly and as, like, for example, wide coverage as possible. So we will have a we call SDK for the different websites to install into their mobile site or install through the API. So that for every website we work with, they will have the API and SDK to link with, so that they can, for example, for the traditional property website, just like those selling the whole property, so they can just embed our product into their website by easily implement. Yeah, so that's what we are doing next step.
So you're making it more interoperable and also more secure. Let's talk about that in the context of current blockchains, particularly the ones we know and love. For example, with Ethereum and Neo. Currently, you're going to be utilizing those, and you have a cross-chain potential. So can you tell us exactly what the plan is?
The plan, actually, we are now on Ethereum, and we are building on ERC20. So the next step we will be exploring with Leo or their investment, some of their investment projects. So to do the cost sharing, just like you said. Yeah. So the reason why is we would like to have a for example, right now it's the private chain with the Ethereum blockchain. So it's also face different problem regarding the Ethereum that face right now. Yeah. So if we have the public chain ourselves, so we'll be easily launched a new project or a new token immediately. Yeah. So that improve the efficiency a lot, and we can. Yeah, we can also change the world into a pure platform, but not too much. The the process. We don't need to go through all the assets.
Okay, so currently you are utilizing the Ethereum blockchain as an ERC20, and you're doing so in a permissioned design. Is that correct? You mentioned private, so are you a permissioned blockchain design?
Yeah, we are we have the private chain. And also we have the public blockchain by built on Ethereum ERC20. Yeah.
So you have both?
Yeah, we have both. Yeah.
Okay, and that's interesting because right now we're seeing the emergence of many different projects that have that duality, that dual structure of the permission and the permissionless element to provide for a conduit for consumers. If we could now talk about your statistics for a moment in the context of real estate globally, just how big is the GDP and globally? What kind of market are we talking about as you emerge as one of the front runners in the decentralized real estate, business frame?
I think the market size is very huge, and it's like, for example, when we study into the real estate market size, it's like $200 trillion US. Yeah, so it's a huge market size, and just imagine if we can get 1% of the market share, is very huge. So,
are you confident? You think you can do that?
I think we can get certain percentage of the new, developed property. Yeah. So, just for example, just use, for example, Airbnb or WeWork as a market valuation benchmark. So both of them is like $15 billion US right now projects. So if we can have a certain percent of the building that roll out on the in our platform, so we will of course we will have the similar valuation of this platform.
I see.
Yeah. So we are quite confident on having like 20 projects this year, and maybe have a 4 to 5 times growth next year.
I see. So you're confident of 20 projects this year. And what's interesting, you mentioned 1%. Just 1%, that's $20 trillion. So that's quite extraordinary, as a goal in itself for a company. But what even more exciting is your mentioning of current projects. You've got 20 going on. So can you tell us a bit more about those projects?
Yeah, sure. We have a Japanese project coming, and the first one, and Japan actually we are planning to have like 4 to 5 projects all along this year, and we will have a Singapore or a Southeast Asian project in the second quarter, and we will also have a Greater China's project, both Taiwan, Hong Kong, or China, and so here's 3 big regions, okay, across Asia. And then the second half of this year, we will go to US, and so that we will have the US property market, and then maybe by the end of this year and also next year, we will have European market. Yeah, okay. So it's a like regional rollout. Yeah.
So obviously you have a lot of projects on your books or plan to be so. How is the other side going though, in terms of users to fund and stabilize this economy you're creating with the real estate shared economy? Are you getting enough users interacting in this space to balance the asset owners injecting their projects into it?
That's a very good question. Actually, we are working, very hard on that. Yeah, because we need to work with different fundraising channels and also different community on that. But because this is blockchain, so if you have a strong community, so we are sure you will be rolled out very easily.
I see. So that's the big challenge, is balancing it with the community.
It's a challenge, and but at the same time, it's an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we can get this done, and we will be very sure that we will be very, very unique. And every good assets will come to us to ask us to involve in their early stage investment.
Sure.
Yeah, so that. Yeah.
And Ricky, how are you going in terms of projections for next year? I know that's a big question, but you mentioned 20. Do you foresee many more projects coming on board, to your knowledge, in the near future, beyond 20?
You mean more than that, or?
Yeah, like you know of 20, but are you aware of any that are coming forward, or do you project to grow and compound in its number?
I think it really depends on the market acceptance level of the this concept, the ATO, and also do we have enough manpower to launch all the projects? Because actually it's quite. The flow is we take certain. We need to roll out several projects first, and then to see whether we can squeeze into, like, for example, 2 weeks or 4 weeks for a project to get this on our platform.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll try to speed up in the second half of this year. Yeah.
Right. And obviously, to kickstart the process, you had great capital and backing from capital firms such as the Neo Global Capital. You also had significant backing from Draper Dragon and many others.
Yeah.
Some of them we'll discuss, one particular one, but certainly they were really credible backers, and that provided with a good financial sort of basis to start. But what I did want to ask you is about future partners. Now, you've got your financial backers to start, but do you have partner interest right now to expand and develop?
You mean the partner regarding financial channels?
Business partners specifically.
Business partners. Yeah. Of course. We have many partners in Greater China and also Japan and Southeast Asia, and we also have some partner in US right now. So we are. You see, if you have my timetable, you will see me traveling everywhere to talk to the asset owner and the financial institutions.
That's why you're in a hotel now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm now in Singapore, by the way. Yeah, so I will be attending a event this week in Singapore, and at the same time, we will talk to several property developers in Southeast Asia. Yeah, so I think everything just because asset owner actually very welcome on us. Right. Yeah, so the key is now how to launch the first project to let them see the flow, and then we will open more channels for them to upload their so-called the ATO white paper. So that they can submit their white paper to us, and then we can work together to get different financial institutions and also the crypto community in the project.
Okay, yeah. Excellent. Well, if we could talk about your tokenomics now. Obviously, you'd appreciate that for much of my discussions, I try to present projects very early on, because obviously that's beneficial for all parties. In your case, you're already on exchanges, which is unusual for me to discuss, but quite simply, the real estate benefits that you provide are the reasons why I chose to discuss this with you. You have 1 billion tokens already you have them as your total supply. They aren't all available. Some of them are locked up, and some of them aren't, accessible via the circulating supply. But what I did want to ask you is, can you give us a rundown on your tokenomic facts, just basically about how you're situated now with the circulation, and more importantly, what your plans are to unravel for the token to unfurl in terms of its application and use.
Okay. So first of all, our token sales is done, and we are already sell 35% of the token out to the market. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at the same time, we have like 10% of the token will be bundled with the bonus as the marketing bonus to the investors. We sold to the token sales. Mm-hmm. With the token sales. Okay. So the total circulating token will be like around 45% at the end of the day. Okay. So the other 50% something will be held by the foundation and the early stage team member and also the early stage investors. Yeah. So we all hold the tokens all together and then to keep for a long time, because actually we are a long-term project. We don't want the token to be circulated at the very beginning. Right. Okay, so it's the token structure that while we are doing ICO or while we are doing the token sales, mm-hmm. That's already mentioned in the white paper. Okay, so
which is quite stock standard. It's what you're saying is generally common. But what I wanted to ask you was, given the context right now, we're seeing a downturn, a very significant downturn in the market. So right now, obviously, the value is probably lower than ICO or close to the ICO prices that we've seen in the past. So are you concerned about that? The long term, or what's your position there?
Okay. So first of all, our price compared to Ethereum is actually almost double to Ethereum. Okay. So but to the US dollar, we are still like 20% down, lower than the ICO. I mean the token sales price.
I see.
Yeah, but the good thing is that we are the top 10% of performance in the markets last month, mm-hmm. when we got listed to the ICO. So I mean to the exchange. Yeah, so that actually we are quite on the spotlight that what we will do next step. Okay. So this is the good news. But at the same time, of course, we will also have a challenge. Mm-hmm. So people will see, if you already in the top 10% list, so why you didn't raise up in this market? Right. So we are actually waiting for the market to get a rebrand, and then so that I think our token will also get rebrand at that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's because we can't talk too much about the price.
Of course, so, and you're obviously very optimistic about the natural process.
It's quite factual. Yes, it's quite factual.
And I appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, but for the token economy, I think because SS owner need to pay us IHT to get this on our platform and use as the marketing token for airdrop to the retail investors. So once more SS owner come to our platform, so that they will buy more IHT from the market, mm-hmm. and we distribute to the retail investors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that this loop will keep on. Yeah, so if we have 5 assets, 10 assets, or like 20 projects within this year, so that's quite a huge amount of IHT will be buy from the markets from these SS owners, because they are those rich guy, just they don't have enough funding for building up the projects. So I think it will be good for them to get onto our platform to support the token economy.
I see. Well, thank you for explaining that. Now I want to move across to something more challenging for you, more controversial. And these are 2 issues I wanted to talk to you about, or perhaps an anomaly. And the first one is that in your white paper, it clearly explains more than once that the IHT token itself is not intended to be an investment, specifically, the token I'm talking about. So can you explain that? Because quite simply, my understanding from having read it is that in a nutshell, you're trying to allow for users to be investors, but the token itself is not for investment purposes. So how is that?
Okay, so I think this question is regarding to legal. Yeah, so because we have reference to many legal opinions, regarding how to be a pure utility token, but not a security token. From our point of view, we would like to be utility more than security. Okay, so in a legal way, we actually can only allow the asset owner to buy for the markets to run in the project, but not allow for the end users to invest to the platform through IHT. I mean, invest the project IHT. Yeah. So this is actually following the legal advice. Okay. So this is the first one. Secondly, is actually people can buy ETH or BTC or USDT to invest in this project. So I think the use of IHT in this case is not the fundamental, the advantage of IHT. Yeah, so that we didn't emphasize on the investment, usage on this case. Yeah,
which is actually something that's almost counterintuitive to someone who knows the traditional market, because traditional markets in real estate suggest and infer investment. So you're actually doing something different in that respect. If we could talk now about your long-term goals, your vision. What is the fundamental thing? If you wanted to send one message to all the people of the world about really what you stand for and what you want to achieve, what would it be?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so our vision is actually quite huge. So we would like to be the third generation of sharing real estate platform. So what we call the third generation. The first generation is Airbnb. So the people can get the room list on their platform and then release. Sublist to the travel users. Okay, so that's the first generation. The second generation is the co-working space WeWork. So they rent and renovate the space and then to rent to other startups and also the corporate. Okay, so that's the second generation. So we would like to be the first generation because I just said there's no significant size of fundraising platform of real estate in the market right now. So I think people are very interested to get involved into the real estate projects investment. Yeah, so it would definitely help us to grow in this vision very fast. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Ricky, it's been an absolute privilege speaking with you. You are the chairman and founder of this exciting project. It is one of very few in the world that are addressing the needs right now utilizing blockchain. So
thank you.
It's been a privilege to listen to the iterations that you started with and progress now to being on exchanges. And no doubt with the excitement of having 20 projects on your books and having many more planned, you are really trying to build out this in the real world and utilize businesses and try and garner more support through the community. So I do sincerely wish you all the very best for this year, but more importantly, I wish you the best for the next decade because you want to be around for the long term. So
sure.
for all those who want to know more, where's the best place to go?
You mean?
In terms of social media, where's the best place for someone to learn more?
To learn more about IHT or to learn more about crypto?
No, definitely to learn more about you. So if I want to access more and engage with you, obviously community is key. Where could we do that?
Okay, so you can actually go to Telegram. We have a Telegram which is called IHT Coin. Okay, so you just put the Telegram with IHT Coin, IHT COIN, and we also have a WeChat group, but basically that's more for Chinese, I think. Yeah, because it's a Chinese app.
Well, hopefully Twitter's to come.
Yeah, Twitter at the same time.
Right.
So we have the official Twitter.
Sure.
Yeah. So you can go to our official Twitter. Just search IHTCon, and my personal account is Ricky Ng _247.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure I put up a graphic for you to show people.
Yeah, sure. That's great. Yeah. So my Telegram and also my Twitter account is also Ricky Ng _247.
Okay.
Because I work 24/7 actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like all the other CEOs and founders working 24/7.
Yeah,
Ricky.
yeah.
So Ricky, on behalf of everyone, Ricky, thank you very much for your time. Obviously, we're getting very late for you. Thank you for the detailed explanation. Certainly, you provided far more than I anticipated tonight. I look forward to seeing more about you in the future in your presentations and in your, release of new white paper information, and more importantly, as you build your business. So thank you for your time.
Sure.
And
thank you.
I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for your time, and thanks for your audience time also. Yeah.
Thanks, Ricky.